Hello, everybody. Today I'm coming to you, and I just wanted to go over some issues when it comes to depression and anxiety in adolescence. And I had a clip that I wanted to play first, and then I'll come back and discuss some of the things that I have found about anxiety and depression. But it has been an increase when it comes to teenagers. And so I'm trying to bring awareness to parents. If your child is experiencing some of these symptoms, you may want to be more mindful of what's going on with them and sort of keep an eye out so that if they are experiencing some of these issues, you would know what to do. Okay, so right now I'm going to log into, I need to share. So right now I'm going to play the video.
So when we look about think about adolescents, it's a unique some of the adolescents.
Hi, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I'm gonna just keep going forward. But it cut me off, and so now I know what did happen to make it do that. But what I'm gonna go ahead and go over is some of the mental health disorders. It's sort of common with a lot of teenagers. You got depression, you got anxiety, and increase. So a lot of teenagers are suffering, and if you're not aware, you won't catch that your child may be going through a crisis. And so what I'm trying to do is just bring some awareness because it has increased. You got emotional disorders are common also with adolescents. Um, Anxiety disorder, which may involve panic and excessive worrying. And it's very common among our teenagers age group. It is estimated that 3.6% of ages 10 to 14 years old and 4.6 of ages 15 to 19 years old experience an anxiety disorder. When it comes to depression, and they could be panic attacks or excessive worrying about schoolwork. It could be a number of things that they are worried about. But when it comes to depression, is among one. Depression is estimated to occur 1.1 of adolescents between the ages of 10 and 14, and 2.8% 15 to 19. So it increased as the adolescent get older. From 10 to 14, that age group, you really don't see it as much, but you do see anxiety more so than you do depression in children between the ages of 10 and 14. But if they 15 to 19, you can see an increase in anxiety or depression because they both share some of the same symptoms. And it usually leads to unexplained changes in the person's mood. Um, Depression in adolescence increase at a greater rate than in adults. That means that children are more or less to have it, and it is experienced more so when you're a child than you do as an adult. They could experience insomnia, loss of energy, no appetite, mood swings, um, and there is treatment for that. Anxiety and depressive disorder. A lot of times the child may want to be isolated. Um, they feel loneliness. And so I'm bringing this awareness because it affects a child's in the long run, and it can also lead to suicide. And so that's one of the reasons you really want to catch it in your child if they are experiencing anxiety. If they don't like, they just not friends, they don't want to go anywhere. So if they basically just sitting at home all the time, lead to a greater problem on into adulthood. And so a lot of children may experience anxiety and depression disorder because they can inherit it from their parents. So it can be inherited. So if you're dealing with it, you may want to definitely keep an eye on your child to make sure they aren't dealing with some of the same symptoms that you are. And we don't pay attention if we're so busy with everyday life. But I say you have to because it's increasing in our children. Behavior disorder is more common too among younger adolescents than it is among older adolescents. So if you got a child and they're acting out in school, hyperactive, disorder, ADHD, um, they have a hard time paying attention in class, excessive activities and acting without regard to consequences. So among the age group of 10 and 14, 3.1% uh, is 2.4% ages 15 to 19 years of age. Conduct disorder. You have a child that's acting out in school and you're getting a lot of calls from the teacher. That's a sign, and oftentimes you deal with it, but you're not getting the child help. And bringing awareness, if you let it go, it can go on into their adulthood because you didn't get them help in their younger childhood. And so this is bringing awareness to seek help on the outside instead of um, trying to handle it by yourself. If you see these issues has increased, especially if it's bringing their grades down in school, you can't just sit back and let them fail uh, without trying to get them the proper help that they may need. Conduct disorders involve symptoms they doing destructive things or their behavior has changed. And a lot of times between the ages of 10 and 14 is 3.6%. And the older 15 to 19 is 2.4. But it can affect adolescents' education, and conduct disorder can result in a criminal behavior. So you have to be mindful. And if you see that that is happening, I would definitely say try and seek care for your child because there are treatments out here that you got psychotherapy treatment out here for children that are well adolescents that are dealing with depression, anxiety, um, behavior problems, emotional problems. So you don't want it to lead to suicide. Risk factors for suicide, and this is for older adolescents between the ages of 15 and 19, can be seen as this include adolescents that may be using alcohol, drugs, abuse in their childhood. If you have a child that may have been molested or something, stigma against help seeking is always a lot of people don't want to seek help because some people tend to look down on mental health. But if you see that your child need help, please don't look down on it because nowadays it's more common than it was when we grew up in my age group. People no one wanted to talk about it. But nowadays it's just a conversation. Um, so you have more people that are seeking help, and it's nothing wrong with it. if it will prevent somebody from having suicidal thoughts, please uh, seek help. Have those conversations with your children to see exactly where they are mentally. Or just sit around and pay a lot of attention to what they are doing. But if substance use, risk taking behaviors are seen as substance abuse use, sexual risk taking, um, they can be helpful, but they can, as a strategy for coping with emotional difficulties. And so you have to be mindful of adolescents' mental and psychological well being. Worldwide, now this is worldwide, in the United States, heavy episodes of drinking among adolescents ages 15 to 19 was 13.6, and that was in 2016. So I'm quite sure it has increased since now. And Caliban and tobacco use. Many children, when they become adults, most of them say before they get 18, a lot of them has had their first cigarette. And Caliban it's widely among young people, 4.7% age group 15 to 16. It has increased. And this was since 2018. Um, Prevention, the risk behaviors is increased, but it can evolve criminal activities. So this is why you want to try and catch it while they're young, because and it's more among I'm not going to say it's more among the girls or boys that are doing it, but it can lead to suicidal or it can lead to jail. And this is what you don't want to happen. Oftentimes, when people are up under some type of substance, they do things that they normally may not do if they didn't have those substance in their systems, meaning drugs or alcohol. And so be mindful to make sure your child is not doing that and that they are staying focused in school and keeping their grades up. And early detection and early treatment. Um, it's a must because you want your child to have a greater chance at a better future when it comes to school as well as going into adulthood. It states that 1 in 5 teenagers have a diagnosable mental health disorder, such as anxiety or depression. So that's 1 in 5 adolescents out here. One of them has got some type of mental health disorder. And that is worldwide. Ages 10 to 19 experience a mental disorder, which is accounted for 13% global. Depression, anxiety, and behavior disorders are the leading cause of illness and disabilities among adolescents. So basically, most adolescents' problems are either behavior, anxiety, or depression. Suicidal is the fourth cause of death among 15 through 29 years of age. So to me, when you look at these statistics, you have to really be more mindful. Globally, when it's 1 and 6 adolescents between the ages of 10 and 19. Um, and it could possibly be coming from physical, emotional, social change, which may include but not limited to abuse, violence. Adolescents are just more vulnerable to mental health problems. So protecting adolescents while they're young is a great ideal, you know, especially when it comes to your child's well-being. You sort of want to catch that while they are young and help them work through it. But when we look at global, you're looking at 1 in 7. That's 14%. Ages 10 to 19 experience some type of mental health condition. So that's 1 in 7 kids globally. A lot of times, if the parents deal with depression, it may be likely that your child may have some type of depression disorder as well. So you have to be mindful of that. Not necessarily mean they do, but they could. Because sometimes it can be hereditary. Uh, uh, Teenage mental health issues can be due to some type of trauma event, borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, substance use, eating disorder. So these are all psychological disorders that children could face, but it can also lead into adulthood. And they say most people that have their first episode of really, knowing something is wrong, it's when they are in their teenage age. So they experience it in adulthood, but a lot of times it's during their teenage age when they first experience, and for some reason they wasn't diagnosed. And this all comes from let me see, major depression has rose 33% since 2013, and that's the statistics. And it's fast growing among the millennium, up to 47%. That means it has increased. It has increased by 47% for boys and 65% for girls. So they're saying more girls are dealing with depression more so than boys. Uh, it increased depression, major depression. So this is major depression. Is increased by 47% for boys and 65% for girls. And so I say it's crucial if you see that your child seek help. Go to your primary care physician, and they can guide you as where you need to go. Major depressive episode is a period of at least 2 weeks. And these symptoms could include low self esteem, loss of interest, normal, enjoyable activities. They just don't care to do it right now. They sleeping a lot. They don't have the energy to just get up and go. And that's with teens with major depression. They have problems at work, studying, eating problems, sleeping problems. And if these episodes last more than 2 weeks, I would say seek some type of help or guidance from your primary care physician. Major depression, depressive disorder, or clinical depression. Pretty much the same thing. And then teenagers, adolescent disorder, struggling with their feelings of tension. They got fears that can interfere with their daily activities at work and school. Anxiety affects adolescents' relationship with their peers, with their family. They may be dealing with an anxiety issue. So anybody can get depressed. Anybody can go through these, and this doesn't necessarily mean that you got a mental health disorder. Uh, this is something, if it's lasting more than 2 weeks, I do say seek help for your child. There's nothing wrong with asking questions, asking your primary care physician, and taking their guidance, your child's doctor, uh, and let them be the ones, especially if it's lasting longer than 2 weeks. If your child is dealing with social withdrawal and they want to be isolated, going through experiencing a loneliness, I do say if that lasts more than 2 weeks to seek help. Just be mindful. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And definitely just bringing awareness, just bringing awareness because it had created us. And uh, we as parents has got to be more aware and more mindful. Some of these things you can catch because you're with your child more than anybody. You're with them at home. So you can sort of monitor their behavior or what's going on in their life. You have to just get more involved and be more mindful of what with your child because it is increasing um, daily. It could come from a number of things: childhood trauma, any type of any type of issue could lead to a depressive disorder. Any type of tragic, or if they was in some type of tragic event, that could lead to it. So right now, I'm just saying, be mindful, and if you see that your child does need that help, uh, talk with your primary care physician and let them guide you to the proper steps you would need to take, especially in school and the grades are falling. Uh, Definitely try and seek help for that because it's your responsibility as a parent to do the best you can for your child, and everybody wants to do that. So if they are suffering in silence, you have to be the one to catch it because the school may not catch it. But if they're home with you can see a lot more than what the school does because they're in your care a lot longer than in the school's care. And so just trying to bring awareness. I hope this was able to help somebody. If your child is going through any type of anxiety or issues, I definitely say seek help for them. And I'm looking for a positive outcome. Catch it because you definitely don't want them to go into a behavior problem and it ends up with the law. And so, as parents, it's like you sort of got to be mindful of this during these ages, especially if your child is in that age group of 10 and on up, you know, to adulthood. You just got to be cautious of their behavior and do what's good for them to help them through it. All right. I just wanted to share that with you and have a good day. I will say subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and leave your comments because I enjoy listening to your comments and I enjoy each and every one of you. So thank you for tuning in. Alrighty.